Welcome back. AJ here with ProLine, and in this video I'm going to be going over how to actually start configuring ProLine to quote jobs how you want it to quote them, and that's going to start with project measurements and subcalculations. So let's head over into our company settings, and we're not going to go to quotes just yet. We're actually starting over here in projects, and then we're going to go to measurements. And these measurements here, this controls which measurement fields appear in projects inside of ProLine. So if we go to a project here, we go to project details, and then we go to measure, these fields that are listed here that can accept values are the fields that we're about to edit. And then down here, these are actually these sub calculations that we're going to be configuring as well. Now I'm going to head back in here and go to measurements. So this demo account, just like all new ProLine accounts, is automatically built out with these roofing related measurement fields. So if you are either not a roofer, which most people using ProLine are in roofing, but if either that, or maybe you're a roofer but you do a lot of other services, in either way you're going to need to build out these measurement fields a little bit more. You may need to replace some of the ones that are here. You also may need to add additional fields, and you have up to 75 fields that you can add. If you don't have a value for the label, then it just won't appear in the project panel. So you don't have to worry about anything being in there. You're not going to see 75 fields unless you put 75 labels in here, and then there will be 75 fields that can accept values. Now, these measurement values that are coming from the project, these are the building blocks around which we're going to be telling ProLine how to calculate quantities and ultimately the price of the quotes that we're sending out. So this is the fundamental building blocks. This is the data that we're going to, and this is controlling what data is being requested here on the project page, but this data is what is going to actually calculate, ProLine is going to use to actually calculate quantities and ultimately the pricing on our quotes. Now, in addition to measurement fields, we have those sub-calculations. Now, sub-calculations, we're going to be going into greater detail on how to edit the actual formulas for these calculations in one of the later videos in this series. But right now, I just want to cover making sure that you have the right values in here. And what subcalculations are for is making sure that, or taking those formulas that appear multiple times. So you have a lot of different line items and quotes that are being calculated off the same basic formulas, or parts of the same formulas are appearing over and over again. You can take those pieces that are appearing multiple times, and you can create a formula in a subcalculation that can be plugged into other formulas later. This is a huge time saver. It makes managing formulas through ProLine for quoting way easier than pretty much any other quoting software that's out there. And so we'll dig deeper into this. But for right now, just think about, is there anything else that I need here? You have up to 5, and by default, we build out 3 of them for you for roofing. But if you are doing other services, you might want to use these sub-calculations for other things. So the default ones that we load into accounts are going to be the total square, the hip and ridge square, and the starter square. Since these are being used, there's multiple things that get calculated off of these for roofing-related quotes, such as coil nails, labor, different types of things that we basically need to have the square values for these in multiple places. And so that's why we have them in sub calculations. And that just about sums it up. So adding, that is one thing I wanted to mention, just because I don't want to have to refilm this video in a month. So here on the measure tab, we will be adding a reports tab soon. So it will actually have your measurements, and then you'll have reports. And then you'll be able to actually order Eagle views, potentially other types of reports as well for measurements, and then have them automatically populate that data into ProLine. And then you'll have the ability in a click, maybe 2 clicks, to move or to push those measurements from reports into your main measurement area. So you'll have reports that have the measurements related to that report, and then you'll also have your main measurements that are actually going to get used for quotes, and you can mix and match, you can replace. All that functionality will be there to really save time. At the moment, this is an area to plug in numbers from your roof report, from the either measurements you took or whatever tool that you want to use, whether it's EagleView or something else. You can use that tool to generate your measurements, and then you just plug them in ProLine. It's a little bit of an extra step, and we're all about automation here, so we are working hard to find ways to make that a little smoother. But in the short run, you just have to take a few moments to fill out that numbers before you actually generate a quote. And so that pretty much covers everything. Make sure that you have those any additional measurement fields that you need and or sub-calculations built out. And that's it for this step of the process. And then the next step after this is going to be building out your price list. And so that will be in the next video in this series.